Hello traders, hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Welcome back to this week's first episode of what we are expecting over the week and what we are expecting for tomorrow. We will look at the major support and resistance levels, and then we will try and see what can be the next major move for the market at this point. Before we get into it, please make sure you like, share, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the notification icon. So again, let us start at the monthly chart. On the monthly chart, we see that we got a new high, which is the new ATH and which is the high of the month. However, if you see as of this point, with one trading day left in the month, we are right below the monthly ATR line, which is around 5790. And if you have seen over the last couple of days that 5790 has been in pivotal area where the price has been moving around. So for tomorrow, we will have to see if the price wants to stay above this 5790 area and then try to go back up and close a solid monthly bar, or this area will act as a resistance and the price will start coming down to some lower level of support, which we will find on the lower time frames once we take a look at that. Again, if there is a strong drop tomorrow, this 5721 area, this will be the first area where the market will find a good support on the monthly chart. And if this area fails, and then on the lower time frames we fail this 5700 areas, the 5690 areas, the next support will be around 5667 and then to the 5655 areas again. So that is all we have on the monthly chart right now. Let us see how the monthly chart closes tomorrow, and then we can make further comments on what the monthly chart is conveying to us at this point. Let us now take a look at the weekly chart. So on the weekly chart, we went above this particular wedge that we talked about last week, but we could not hold there and we came back and closed below that particular wedge. We also could not hold on to that previous ATH, and now we have to see if this previous ATH will hold at 557.85 area. If that does not hold, we will come down to this 5772 to the 5762 area. This I think will be a very big support. If this support does not hold, then we will see somewhere between 57.44 and 31. And failing this, we can come down to the 5721 to the 18 area. If you remember, the 5721 was also a big support on the monthly chart. So maybe the price will actually bounce from here. If it does not bounce from here, we will see another 20 points down to the lower 5700s. Now on the upside, this 5790 area has been very strong. If you see, we have this particular wedge line here. We have this particular trend line here for this week. So this 5799 to the 5802 area will be a very good area of resistance, which the bulls need to take out and hold that area. And then we will see if we are getting back to that 5813 and then to the 5824 and then back to this 88. And then if we are moving higher up, we already know that the top of the daily channel was at 5860. So we will take a look at it on the daily time frame, that where that line is at this point of time. If we are looking at the ATR that we ended last week, it was close to 150 points. So if we are getting 150 points from here, it will actually bring us somewhere to this area, which is at 5939, and I am thinking this 5947 and this 5925, these two areas can act as wedge resistances to the upside for this week, and then the price may actually see some pullback on the downside. But if the bulls are strong enough and they can keep going to the upside, then this will be a very good target that the bulls will have. And similarly, if the bears are taking control and we want to come downside, then we will come to this 5640 areas once again, and we will see that whether this support area is holding and actually maybe starting a bearish move to the downside. However, if you look at the last weekly candle, we are still closed above the 50% line of that. Although this long wick on the top is not looking very confident for the bulls, but then we will have to see whether how the next week starts, how the overnight market happens in the Asia session and in the London session. And then we will have to look at what directions the market can move again tomorrow morning. But as of now, we are still bullish. We did not close above the high of the previous week. That is one concern. We are right at the 5790 area, which has been a very good area of support and resistance last week. And we have a pretty long wick on the top. So we will now have to be very careful. We will have to look at the different trend line supports. We will have to measure the moves, and then we will see where the market can go. And I think we will get a better feel of it as we keep moving down in the time frames. One more observation that I have on the weekly chart right now is that we have the first touch, second touch, and third touch, right? So this is a wedge that we have formed. So it is possible that the market may see this as a three touch wedge and a pullback may actually start and we may come down from these levels. But then we have to make sure that we are not getting a strong reversal at a specific area and the price starts moving back up again. And then we can actually go and do a fourth touch around in the 5860 area or the 61 area, which happens to be a target on the daily chart again. So let us now take a look at the daily charts. On this daily chart, we were in this particular channel. This was the midpoint of the channel to the upside at the 5824 area. We went above that and immediately dropped below that. We created a wedge out to the upside on the lower time frame and we dropped. However, if we look at it now, we are below this particular channel line and now we will have to see if the price can get up to this channel line, which will again be at the 5818 to the 5821 area. If we can get above this, we can come somewhere between 5830 and 5822. If we can get above that, then mostly the price will try to get to the previous ATH at 5830 or 5829.75. And if the price can get up to the midpoint, then it will come to this 5858 area, crossing above which we can actually get to this 5900 area as well, which has now become the top of this daily channel at this point. So we will draw a line there at the top here. And we also have the line at the 5860 area, which we already saw can be a target on the weekly chart as well. Now on the daily chart, we will have to see that we are getting above this 5804 to the 5805 area as well. This is the area that I am referring to. Once we are above this area, the price will try and get to this 5818 line. We will have another line here on the daily chart at this point, which is at 5819.25. And if we can get above this and we have enough momentum, then we will keep going to the upside. Now, if we are not able to get to the upside, if we are not able to get above this 5890 area, the first major support that we have on the daily chart will be somewhere between 5761 to the 5755 area. That is also the area that we were looking at on the weekly chart. If we are breaking this down, this will be the next major area that the price will find support in, which is between 5730 and 5727. And then below that, we have the 20 EMA support as well at 5714. So we will keep one line there for now at 5714, and we will have marked that as the daily EMA. And below that, as we were talking in the higher time frames as well, we can see the lower 5700s, which is at 5702, and then we can come down to this 5690 area, and then we can come down to this 5677 daily micro double bottom area. There may be some kind of support on this particular trend line as we keep coming down on these levels, and these supports on the daily chart can actually make a 20-30 point bounce again. This is one more area that I'll keep on the daily chart, which is the 5776 to the 5773 area. If you see here, this has been a good area of support and resistance. Actually, I'll increase it a little bit more from 5777.5 to 5773.5. So this can actually be a very good area of support as well. We can do a double bottom here and keep going up to the top. However, on the daily chart, we do have an inside bar. So for tomorrow, I will actually keep my mother bar fibs on top of this daily chart while we are looking at the lower time frame charts. And this is how that mother bar fib is going to look like. So if we look at this 5773 to the 5767 area, we know that is a good support area. That is right at the trap zone extension of this particular mother bar. So we can come there and we can bounce from there. If we do not bounce from there, then based on this fib, the next target is the 5761, and then we can get down to the 5752 to the 55 area, and the 1:1 of this mother bar to the downside will be the 5727 area. So we are coming down to that monthly support area once again. And on the upside, this 5819 to 24 will again be the trap zone on the upside. If we can get above that and cross over the previous ATH, we can get to this 5841 to the 35 area, and then we can finally come to this 5856 area, which is the 50% extension to the upside. And then if the bulls are strong enough and we want to keep pushing higher, we can come to this 5881, which happens to be the 1:1 of this particular mother bar on the daily chart. Now, over the last few days, the daily chart has been ranging between somewhere 85 to 50 points. So if we take a rough estimate of where the prices can go, if we have started from here and we are looking at a 85 point move to the upside, then we will actually come up to this 5860 area and higher, and we can actually get to this top of this trend line once again. However, if the price is not going to the upside, And we consider that this 5793 will be the upside for the day. And if we are looking for a 50 points down, 50 to 60 points down, then we can come down to this 5730 area, breaking which the 80-85 point area will actually bring us to the 5715, which happens to be the daily EMA, and then to the lower 5700s. Also, the 60 points to the upside can just get us to the previous ATH, and we can see the price failing from there again. If we are looking at the legs on the daily chart, we will see that after this new high was created, this has been a micro channel. This is the second leg that we may start on the daily chart. We came below the low of the Friday's candle, so that actually ended that micro channel, and now we will have to see if we are going up above this 5822 area, or we will go somewhere in the middle in this area between the 5799 and the 5804 area, and we will get rejected from there, and then take this 5779 area out, 5780 area out, and keep coming to the downside. Now, if we also look at this, this was the first reversal attempt, this was the second reversal attempt, this was the third reversal attempt, which was actually very strong. So it is possible that the price actually goes up to the midpoint of Friday, and then we start getting rejected from there, and that happens to be at the 5802 5801.5 area. So these are the different things that we will keep an eye on the daily chart. Let us now get into the intraday charts and look at the 4-hour chart. So looking at the 4-hour chart, we did break down this 5784 line, but that got taken up immediately. We have a kind of a double bottom here at this point between the 5778 and the 5779.5 area. We are back at the 4-hour EMA now. We will have to see if we take out this 4-hour EMA, if we can get above this trend line again. And then if we see that we are breaking out this trend line once more strong, there may be a possibility that we will come and hit this 5824 area once again. And then we can actually try to get to the all-time high, and then try and get to one of these trend lines to the upside. Now, since we are in a bullish market, this TTR above the EMA should have taken us higher, but it actually broke down below the EMA. And I am looking at this as a continuation of this leg to the downside. Now, if we see that these areas are breaking down, then we can come down farther as an extension of this particular leg. And at that point of time, I will actually try and see that if we get a 1:1 of this move to the 5764 area, and if we are getting a bigger move, then we can actually come down to this 5730 area as well. So at this point of time on the 4-hour chart, we have a very strong candle that has closed below the 20 EMA. Now we will have to see if there are further candle closures overnight below the 20 EMA. At this point of time, we also have a mother bar on the 4-hour chart, and the 1:1 target of that mother bar is at the 573630 area. So if you remember on the daily chart, this was the 1:1 extension of the daily mother bar to the downside. So if we are coming down to this 36 area, we may very highly come to this 30 area and then bounce from there. Otherwise, if we are keeping going on the upside, then this 5860 to 65 area can be another target as a 1:1 of this particular mother bar. But then we have to get above this very strong resistance at the 5822 double top and the 5824 area. Once we get above that and we get above this 5826 to the 31 area, then we can target the 5843 and finally the 5865 lights on the upside. Again, if we are counting the legs here, this was the first reversal attempt, this was the second reversal attempt, this was the third reversal attempt, which could not close below the second reversal attempt, and now we are having the fourth reversal attempt, which has actually closed pretty strong below the second reversal attempt. So this is telling me that there is a possibility that if these bulls here are giving up, especially around the 77 to the 67 area, so at that point of time, there may be a couple of very strong legs to the downside based on this 4-hour chart. And the target that I will be looking at that point will again bring the price to the 5750 to the 46 area. And then we will have to see if we are breaking it down, getting down to the 36 to the 30 area, and then to the subsequent areas to the downside. On the 4-hour chart also, as we saw on the higher time frames, this 5805, 5804 area is working as a very good area of resistance. So overall on the 4-hour market, I can see a bearish possibility, but then we are in a super bullish market. And as long as these major areas at the 5730, 5721 are not taken out, there will still be a possibility of very good bounce within the 5700. Let us look at the 1-hour chart and let us count the legs first. So after this new high, we got this first leg down, we had a pullback, and we had a second leg down here. If you look at the pullback again, we had a two-legged pullback to the upside, and then we had the first leg down, we again had a two-legged pullback, we had the second leg down again. Right from here, we had the first leg up and we had the second leg up and we even had the third leg up. Thereby, we have this particular wedge here at this point of time. So if you see, we can actually draw multiple wedges here, and this is a nested wedge structure that we are having. And after this new high, we had this first leg down, we had this second leg down, we had the pullback, and this was the third leg down as well. Now we are seeing that there might be a reversal based on the fact that we are having a kind of a wedge built out in this area. Now, if this wedge actually comes down and fails, and if we are failing these bottoms, we are failing these double bottoms as well, then there is a possibility that we will keep coming down. And at that point of time, we will have to see if we are going for a larger wedge on the 1 hour chart. Otherwise, this particular trend line can also act as a support based on at what time this price comes down here. Now, if this particular 1 hour candle is closing strong, there is a possibility that it will go and hit the EMA, and then we will have to see if we are getting above this 5804 areas and keep going to the upside. We have several targets still on the upside, even on the 1 hour chart. However, we can even get rejected at the 1 hour EMA. We can get rejected at this area as well, at the 5804 area, and then we can still keep coming to the downside. So after this move, if you see, this was the first leg down, this was the second leg down. However, we did not close strong below the second leg down, so it is possible that at this point of time we can actually have a two-legged move to the upside again. So at this point of time, this looks like this 5821 to this 5774, this whole area is turning into a trading range. Even if we do not go till the end of it, and if we are considering only this part, then even at that point of time, this will be the kind of trading range that we are looking at. So if you look here, this 5807 and up is the upper one third of this particular trading range, and this 5973 and below is the lower one third of this trading range. And if we are able to close strongly above this area, and we can get above this 5800, we may find sellers again between these 5807 and the 5810 area, and even above that. And then we will see that whether it is actually getting into a trading range, or we are trying to break out of that. So we may continue to be in this hourly trading range for some time before we finally see a breakout. If we want to see, this was the first attempt to break out to the upside. This was the second attempt to break out to the upside. This was the third attempt of breakout to the upside, and that failed. And now we have one attempt, two attempt, and three attempts to the downside as well. And now we will have to see if this move to the upside is actually a false move, and we are falling down below this 8.5 to the 8.1 area, and we will keep coming down to the downside. And at that point of time, we can actually do a 1:1 of this trading range to the downside as well. Also, I will keep an eye on this particular trend line on the 1 hour chart, and we will see that if we are breaking out strongly from this, after this new low was created, this again is the first entry long. Since this channel was pretty tight, I am thinking that the market will try to pull back once again to the bottom of this, or at least back to the 5785 area, and then we will see if we are breaking these areas down and keep continue to the downside. Let us now take a look at the intraday 5-minute chart. Now we can get a better view of the trading range on the 5-minute chart, and it looks like it is starting from the 5802.25 line and to this 5782 line. So we are in this 20-point trading range at this point. And similarly on the bottom side also, we can come down 20 points, and then we will see if that is continuing and getting back into a trend either to the upside or to the downside. These are the major areas that we have on the upside here as resistances. We have the 5799 area, and then we have the 5802 to the 5805 area. Above that, we will have the 5810 to the 5813, and then we have the actual major resistance area between the 17 and the 21 lines to the upside. At the bottom of this TR, this 5782 to the 5778 area will act as very good areas of support. After that, we have the 5773 and the 5769 to the 67 area. So this is the area that I was talking about, that we can have bulls here. So if the bulls do not come out here, then we will see somewhere near the 5760 to the 5752 area. This is also another major support. If it does not hold, then we will come down to the 46 area. This will be the final support before which we can get to the 33 to the 21 area. And if we break this down here, we are coming down to some of these levels to the downside. So tomorrow we will have to see that if we are not able to get above and stay above that 5790 area, and we are breaking down these areas, then we will have a serious move to the downside for tomorrow. Now, based on this analysis that we had, we will come back again in the morning tomorrow at 8:45 a.m. EST for the pre-market plan. If you want to join that plan, you will find the link to the Google Meet in the description below. Along with that, in the description below, you will also find the link to our Facebook page as well as the free Discord server. You are very welcome to join there. In the description below, you will find all the read-only links to all the charts that we discussed right now. This is where I will end tonight's video, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow morning at 8:45 a.m. EST. Have a great night, everyone. Bye.